Alright, round 2 of week 5, season 22. As you can see, I already went. Amel didn't have a great time, but I had a worse time because I tried a different variation on the one-shot that I did yesterday against an Nihilist Symbiote, and even though Amel's team was smaller, this one went way worse. So, you know, again, as usual, even though we lost, we learned something, but it really is getting pretty silly at this point that I don't have that composition on defense, because it's just costing me too much, me being very stubborn trying to just figure it out. So I kind of have it figured out, but it's not close to the Daring Warriors Annihilus version, because that one was very reliable even against like a 3-diamond Annihilus. Even what I did yesterday against Praetorian's team, I don't know that scales, and at this point, it just feels very sensitive to even the smallest thing going wrong. So I don't think I'm gonna do it anymore. Maybe I'll do it again tomorrow, just since this season's kind of a wash anyway, and just learn as much as possible for the next one. But anyway, so yeah, first room is Phoenix Force Blue Marvel with Breaker. Whoops. Room 2 is Shaw with New Mutants, then this room, which has been meta for a couple of weeks now. At least we'll talk about this one and see what went wrong. This one, which at this point I don't think anyone should really run, because it doesn't really take away anything you don't need anywhere else. But yeah, Super Scroll with Immortal Weapon. Full Daring Warriors, which gave me some trouble yesterday, but is fine today. And then this team here, which I had one brain fart moment where I went in with the wrong team, but I mean, at that point I already hadn't cleared this room, so I wasn't really paying attention. Anyway, this is an interesting one. There's a lot of different things I was interested in trying here, but I went with something that was just safe but not super interesting. But anyway, let's look at them more in more detail. Alright, stage 1. So I'll show this one just because, but it is Phoenix Force Blue Marvel and Breaker. This will probably stop Daring Warriors as a counter, because Blue Marvel is not unavoidable, unblockable. Plus, this guy Magneto Ultimate is unblockable. And you have to eat the Silver Surfer special, which can hurt. So I think even a max Daring Warriors probably loses someone here, which is not good. So, you know, the alternative is you just Daemon them, unless you need them somewhere else. Sentry is here, obviously, to stop the speed bar from Omega Red, but also any shenanigans, because he will go before Dark Phoenix goes. So you'll see 5 actions here, because I didn't want to wait. But yeah, the assist plus the yo-yo attack, you know, brings people low enough where Daemon gets to do his thing, even at 4 diamonds. So kill both of them here. Most people pause here, but at this point I already had not cleared the one room, so I just didn't want to wait. So any damage done here is basically just from the Phoenix passive, and yeah, Phoenix passive. So she gets to go, but it's irrelevant, and then let's take 2 more turns, or 1 more turn to kill her? I guess 1 more turn with the assist, yeah. So yeah, pretty simple. Obviously expensive in that it takes 2 tools away, but if you don't need them elsewhere, then it's free. This one, let's look at this one, why not? There's a few quirks here with positioning that made this a little less efficient, but this is never gonna lose. At this point, I think variants of New Mutants are going to disappear. If you have full mutants here, they kind of require, at least for one-shots, either a Daring Warriors or a Brimstone or something expensive with Professor X. And a lot of these tools are required elsewhere. So, but yeah, otherwise, I just brought Storm here to stun Sebastian, and also an early slow. Early slow means your team gets to go way faster than them. Cannonball will do his special always, but he's only going to do damage because he's silenced. Now, the only good thing that Shaw brings to this comp is that I'm forced to special here, which means I'm not silencing magic, which means she's going to give a bunch of evades and death roofs and shit out. So that's the one benefit here of having Shaw in this spot. But he does drop the taunt eventually, and either way, Thrasher was going to do that here. this is generally where the fight is over, so it's just a matter of efficiency, but you see these evades and death proofs are what's just going to eat a little bit of efficiency. That's why I focus on magic here to try and see if I can just kill her, but barely didn't, and then she gets to do her thing before the ISO hit. Speedball special onto Wolfsbane, because I just don't want her to do her special, so she'll just do a basic and that's it. Now we're back to Warlock. He's only going to do basic because he's ability blocked. A lot of stealth going out, but don't really care. Magic heals them up a little bit. And then usually this is where the fight ends. But because they've healed up a bunch and they've got all these death proofs, then, you know, these are all extra turns at this point that I'm taking, which is purely because you cannot get a silence on magic before Thrasher gets to go. But anyway, again, irrelevant for this fight, but if somehow you're fighting for efficiency and you're expecting your opponent to have Daring Warriors, then just make sure, well, I guess if you're on offense, make sure you're silencing the magic, or if you run this, then run this position. Alright, so stage 3, and this is where things went wrong, and I mean, my biggest mistake here was that I kept this first attack, because I tried something different today. Yesterday I had Jeff and Gwen. My other comp that I'd been trying in War that seemed to also work was with Mummy and Breaker. Mummy is good because he stops the chains. Counterattacks break a lot of the things that these guys do, so I figured even though Mummy is slower, it maybe makes the rest of my team survive, so that they can, you know, if they're guaranteed to take their turns, it's fine if I don't have a Gwen here to take her turn. But this was very bad. Again, I didn't get a vulnerable, I mean, you see, I don't get a vulnerable on this guy, which is already a big problem, and Breaker still doesn't push this guy to lose his rod, and the minute this guy doesn't lose his rod with Breaker's turn, I'm basically at risk of not removing it ever, and I don't. And because of Thanos, you know, cleanup was miserable, and then I kind of gave up. So I needed to cancel this attack, basically, and just do what I did yesterday, and then move things around, but I'm just being stubborn, just put it that way. So anyway, it's fine. So, let's see how this plays out. So, Songbird here again for the kind of getting off ride and the offense down on his Annihilus. So I hit his for about 9 million here, so you can see that. And he does this. I think he crits though, because yeah, he does way more damage to me even though his offense down. Then his ping also crits, so like, he's done a ton of damage to me before I even take a turn, more than Praetorian's one time and yesterday, because I guess both attacks crit today, whereas yesterday they didn't, so I took way more damage off rip here. So Annihilus goes, probably should have basicked into, no, not that it really matters, but anyway, so yeah, so here's the thing, Breaker goes now. Let's put this on 1x actually, I just want to see the damage. Whee! Move. So he does a ton of good damage. But yeah, if this is the vulnerable damage missing, basically. That is ultimately the problem here, that this attack is so sensitive to getting even one vulnerable on this guy that if you don't, it just falls apart. So, unreliable attack. Now Riot would have gone here anyway. As you can see, it broke the chain. Null going here is a big problem, because my Darkstar just does not take a turn, right? Like, if Darkstar had gone, maybe this would be okay, but see, he's already healed up. So the minute my Breaker didn't take the rod off, it was over. If my Gwen was here and she had taken a turn, maybe she would have pushed him as a striker, but I don't think she would have had a vulnerable, would she? No, she would not have, sorry, not vulnerable, she would not have a dodge, so she would also heal him up. So yeah, I don't know, this attack is like live or die on vulnerables, on Annihilus, just to push his permanent health low. But because Venom here stops crits, the only way to guarantee it was a Skirmisher, but Skirmisher is less damage, and I tried that last time and that also didn't work. So like, you know, it's one step forward, 2 steps back with me trying all these different comps, and like, again, it's just costing me round after round after round. So if Daring Warriors and Nihilus was still the meta, then this would have been a slam dunk. But these comps are just too hard and too subject to RNG that I've already changed my defense. I have a version of this composition on defense tomorrow as well, because I can't afford to keep losing because I'm being stubborn with this offense. The only thing that I'm worried about is that, because right now I have a 7 red Annihilus, because he's so stat sensitive, you know, maybe I'll still be in a situation where I can't clear theirs, but they can clear mine because he's smaller. But we'll have to see how that goes. If I end up in that situation, I'm just gonna have to go back to the drawing board. But yeah, oops, I should probably be playing this. But yeah, the other problem here is that his team also, sorry, not his team, his Annihilus also got to go before mine Annihilus. So I think if mine had gone first, I would have killed Rod and that would have been fine. But unfortunately, his goes first, does very bad things to me. I get to do my ultimate, but because he still has so much not permanent health, like, yeah, see, like, he's so healthy. Actually, let's look. I think he's above 70. He was above 75%, which means my ultimate was never going to one-shot him, because you saw it did 21 damage with the ISO hit, and that's because he's capped at 75%. So not doing enough permanent damage to this guy where he can be killed in one hit is ultimately what ruined me here, because I think if the rod was gone here, the cleanup is the easiest thing in the world. But I didn't, and he's still got plenty of health to regen, which he is. And then here's the other problem. He's gotten so much energy back that he specials. So I'm walking into an ultimate. So yeah, so not only is this attack risky, I have to cancel it. I can never keep it because the cleanup is impossible. So, you know, big mistake. But I was just kind of like, damn, dude, why isn't this working again? So I just played it out, and then, you know, hindsight 2020. These other two I'm not going to show. I mean, this is a Hail Mary because this team cannot survive walking into an Annihilus ultimate. And because he specialed on the last turn, I got screwed. If he was specialing, I think maybe I'm still okay. But he opens with ultimate, kills a bunch of people. There was something weird here where my Hobgoblin had an evade, but on his turn the ping still killed him, which shouldn't happen. But it was never gonna... That wasn't make or break, but it was a weird interaction. I don't know if it was like a phantom evade somehow. And then I just YOLO'd this just to see if maybe I could do something, because the concept was, well, Kahori will get me past Riot, and even though he will go quickly, you know, maybe Mephisto can do something, executioner, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't. Like, I think I can't remember who I killed, but you know, Annihilus is he's just healing back too much, and I'm not doing enough damage to him, so pointless. So yeah, ultimately should have canceled this and reverted back to what worked yesterday, and then taken it from there, then I would have won, but it is what it is. So moving on to stage 4, I'm not going to show this one either. It's just leftovers. I mean, Mephisto's not even good here. It's just this is never going to lose, but because this trio alone can take the team. Like, I could have just brought 4 people in without Mephisto and it would have been fine. But yeah, what happens is Sus goes, BK pings him, Oman Logan gets some turn meter, Dakin, because of the stealth, gets to go really fast, removes a bunch of their buffs, and so on and so forth. You can see it's pretty efficient. But I've also done it plenty, or at least I've done versions of this plenty without Mephisto, so you can see that elsewhere. I don't think this is a good defense that anyone should really be running these days. Stage 5. I had plenty left over for this, and this is a very good counter to full Daring Warriors. It's a little expensive. It assumes you can spare Thunderstrike and Blaststar, which I definitely could this time. If I didn't have Jeff here, maybe things would be weirder. I don't know, because the pull-in is pretty damn good. And if I'd reverted to my other counter, I wouldn't have had Jeff for Daring Warriors. But I still think you can just focus on the trio you care about the most, and this should still be okay. So I also got the good RNG here where Jeff goes and removes all the barrier from everyone, and then does a bunch of damage, which is good. And what I mean by good RNG is if Quasar goes first, he doesn't he just hits into the barrier, so he doesn't do much. But when Jeff goes first, he brings everyone in, and you get to do this, which is unblockable and does a shit ton of damage. Eclipse gets to go. Does a whole bunch of damage, but not a big deal. Blast our special, and you really need Quasar, by the way, for this, because this guy would be blinded otherwise. So anyway, you do the Blaster Special here. That takes... this can be blocked, but it also takes away 10% health, which is pretty good, and you get a basic Ice Note in there. These guys are also peppered with vulnerables. Blade goes down the middle. Boop. Thunderstrike also gets to hit everyone. They kind of all just fall over, and you know, Jessica survives 6 a turn. So yeah, I think if you can't spare Jeff here for some reason, which, you know, in my mind I'm like, oh, I need him for the other one shot for Annihilus, which I'm not doing anymore. Yeah, Jeff is really good for this. Otherwise, you just pick a trio and you focus on that. I still think you win, depending on which 2 you leave alive, but you should still be fine. It would just be less efficient. And stage 6, this is, I mean, again, kind of, this wouldn't have mattered. I just needed to clear the Annihilus room, and I still would have won despite this brain fart, but I wrote down the wrong name when I was planning my attacks here. Like, I came in here without MIX is basically the problem. And I needed to not bring Havoc, because this was the core 4 that I always needed. And then I needed MX, but I was like, oh, Howard, I should bring Havoc, and then he can also stun, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait, no, that doesn't work. So that was just a silly brain fart. The whole concept here, and this, I mean, this is obviously not really efficient. Again, I had lost already, so I wasn't really too fussed about it. I was just curious to see how efficient it would end up being if I had to do this in the future. Also, the other thing is... this is not a very good team in that, like, you can even abuse Dakin here. If you're not stopping speed bar, the minute you see her, you hit her with Dakin, and then Dakin's going to put early slows, and you can get ahead of them fairly significantly. I used Dakin here, which I don't really need to, but whatever, again, kind of autopiloting after I realized I'd lost. But yeah, it's, I mean, most people have Fantastic Four on offense as well. This is an easy Fantastic Four Fury, because it's the mirror match, so, you know, this is an efficiency sink in this room, specifically, because it's 6, so if you assume you're losing, but you want to make them take a bunch of turns, and plus Thanos, plus the pings from Executioner, then yes, this is probably a good efficiency sink, I'll say. Even though it feels kind of expensive, because most people kind of need Fantastic Four on offense, and, you know, Amel dropped 5 attacks, so, you know, under normal circumstances, this would be problematic, but, you know, if I don't clear a room, then it doesn't matter. So anyway, I'm not going to show this one. You can expect what happens when you go into Fantastic Four without stopping their speed stat. And also, like, even this guy, actually, yeah, because I got Oath here, it is basically these 3 need to go first before I get to do anything, but, like, my entire team dies just from these 2, because Fantastic Four just do so much damage. But yeah, otherwise, this is the comp I should have taken in, and, you know, it works, it's just not efficient because of when damage comes in, and there's probably a way that I could have played this differently. Well, actually, there is a way, but you'll see it now. So yeah, the concept here was Howard is cool because he can triple ability block here. I actually did debate bringing in full Star Jammers as well, but I didn't see the reason, and I was also paranoid. Oh yeah, and Lalandra is here to ignore the pre-taunt, because he's cosmic, so her presence here means Howard can hit into these 3. She also will offense down anyone that has barrier, which is, I guess, these 2 at this point. So anyway, I don't do the ultimate because I don't want to push this guy too soon, which maybe I should have pushed him fast. I think the one thing I could have done differently here is I should not have specialed yet. I should have just done a basic, and then when I get back to his second turn, then do the special and heal everyone up. But this is the safe option, basically, because I wasn't sure how much incoming damage I would have. Ability blocking, Mr. Fantastic, because I don't want him to do his ultimate. And he just dies, which is great. Then I special here, because again, I'm just avoiding Thanos for now. Executioner dies, and you'll see now, like, I'm super healthy. The only damage you're going to take is from the room and from this attack, and then Thanos. So this doesn't really do too much. However, Swipe screwed. So you can see like she took a ton of damage. Everyone else is mostly okay, but you know, bad timing of when he was pushed because this also happens, which is not good. So honestly, yeah, I probably should have basicked first, and then slow played to do the Odin special to heal them all back up. If I was fighting for efficiency, because you see here if I do special, I heal them up, and then I just get full efficiency back. So anyway, but you know, kind of a silly team anyway. So that's the round. No more Annihilus on offense for me because it's cost me like, I don't know, this entire season has basically been experimenting with Annihilus on offense, and it's worked sometimes, but it's failed more than not, and I don't feel like I'm close to a reliable solution for the symbiote team. So I'm gonna put him back on defense with that team until I can come up with maybe a different solve. You know, I was debating if a symbiote Annihilus mirror would be good, but that's probably going to fall into the same problems as before, where there's going to be a shit ton of coin. Well, actually, yeah, there'll be a shit ton of coin flips, and you know, did I get vulnerables? Which Annihilus went first is really important. So I don't think that's gonna work. So yeah, expect to see a shuffle in my defense starting tomorrow, which means I'll have different things to try on offense. So hopefully that should at least be more interesting. So see you then.